Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. Bob Pompeani here with you. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 7 nights a week. We're always here talking sports with you at 412-575-2600. Hit us up on Twitter. Mine is at KDPomp. Andrew is at the Pony Express. Andrew Filipponi, PM team, up at 93.7 The Fan as we watch the Pirates, well, for the most part, waste another outstanding effort, I thought, by Paul Skeens, although this game, last I checked, is 2-2 in the bottom of the eighth, and the Astros had runners on base. But once again, every time he's out there, Andrew, it seems like it's a lack of run support, and tonight was no exception.
Nope, you're right, Bob. And the defense behind him, not very good. Double play ball, right to keep Brian Hayes. This is your sure-handed gold glover. He makes an error, and that allows for the Astros inning to continue for runs to score. So these are not all earned runs against Skeens tonight. Also threw a ball over to first base on a pickoff attempt. Rowdy Tellez didn't bend over far enough to get it. It was right there where the runner was sliding back into the bag. Probably would have been out if it was caught. So, yeah, got let down in that way. And also the bats, as you point out. 3 starts for Skeens, last 3 times out. And when he's been on the mound, the Pirates have scored a grand total of 3 runs for him. And it would have been a crying shame if he had lost 2 in a row. He can't get the loss now, Bob. But his ERA still under 2. And he was not overpowering tonight. The fastball velocity was down a little bit. He was throwing his slider a lot more, and I'll be interested to hear him after the game if that was a game plan scouting thing to try to throw off the Astros hitters, because he featured that pitch a lot more tonight than he has all year.
Yeah. He did get away with one pitch. Alex Bregman, I thought, hit one right off the foul pole. It looked like it grazed it to me. But they called it foul, and they looked at it, and it was barely, I guess, foul. But I thought it changed direction. But that could have been 5-0. So the Pirates have battled back. Give them credit. Cruz, who stranded 2 earlier, hit a double to drive in Reynolds. So it's 2-2 as they go to the 9th. But the big talk, of course, is what they're doing with this trade deadline, which comes out tomorrow. And they made 2 deals today, one of which I don't know if it's going to help them or not this year. Mike York, a second baseman from the Boston Red Sox, in exchange for Quinn Priester.
Well, now with Ji-Hwan Bae going out with this game, that looked like a pretty serious knee injury. It was swollen when he was walking back or being carried back to the dugout after that collision at first base. So, yeah, the guy has no major league experience, even though he's 22. He really had a great first year in the Boston minor leagues, then has struggled since, but this season he got a promotion to AAA and really has been outstanding there. So why not see what he can do at second base while Gonzalez is out? It's not like your lineup is full of guys who can hit. You've got the second lowest OPS in the league. They've got 2 guys in their lineup with OPSs over 700. Those would be O'Neill Cruz and Brian Reynolds. So, yeah, I'd like to see this guy get a shot. Quinn Priester, easy to trade him if you're Ben Cherington because you didn't draft him. And I'm not as worried as I have been in the past with guys leaving, because to the Pirates' credit this year, Bob, they've gotten it done with pitchers. Luis Ortiz, Jared Jones, Bailey Falter. Obviously, Skeens probably is coaching proof. I think any coaching staff could handle him and make him a great pitcher. But the Pirates get the benefit of the doubt with me with pitchers, whereas a few years ago that would not have been the case, as you pointed out, with Tyler Glass now.
Yeah, and they also have Oviedo, who's on injured list. He could come back next year and be a help to them. They did acquire a left-hand reliever, Jalen Beeks. I see Chapman was in the game in the 8th. I wonder about his future now. They brought in Jalen Beeks to be in the same sort of role, I would imagine, here, and they gave up Luis Peralta, who I was surprised actually was thrown into this, just because they like to protect certain prospects. He seems like one that has potential there, but this may pave the way for yet another deal to try to dump some salary, whether it's Martin Perez or whether it's Aroldis Chapman. Would you be surprised if either of those 2 guys were out of here tomorrow?
Well, I would be surprised if either one of them are moved just for prospects. I mean, if Chapman is moved for a guy who can help you right now as a hitter, a young hitter, who you get from, say, the Orioles or a team like that, I would actually do that because I think they've got such a real bereft team of hitters. They need to go find one, and if you have to give up something to get a good young one, I would be okay with that now that you found a potential replacement for him. But if they're just dumping Chapman and Perez to bring in guys that are a year or 2 away, Bob, because they want to save the money, I'll have major issues with that. You only do it to make this current team better, and not because you're trying to save a few bucks. If Perez is traded for a guy that helps you in other ways, great. But I don't want those guys just sent packing because of what their salaries are for the rest of the year.
I agree with that. We got to take a break. When we come back, phone lines are open. Call us at 412-575-2600. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're live on KDKA+. All right, this is our GMC Sierra tweet of the night. Comes from MLB Now. Going back to that Chris Archer trade a decade ago, or whatever it was. The Pirates got Archer, of course. Everybody was excited because of the name. They gave up Glasnow, Shane Baz, Austin Meadows, and look what Tampa has done. They still have Baz, but Glasnow is now an all-star, big-time money pitcher with the Dodgers. They picked up a couple of prospects from them. Meadows turned into Isaac Paredes, who was traded to the Cubs. Christopher Morel, Hunter Green, and Ty Johnson brought in for that. So it's pretty amazing what Tampa does. They do get a lot of prospects. Whether or not they're all going to turn out, probably not, but they do put themselves in a position to compete every year in a very tough division. And I wonder, Andrew, that trade is still, maybe that's the reason the Pirates are just reluctant to make deals like that one again. We haven't seen anything quite like that one since.
Well, it shouldn't be. Baseball America did a great study. For an 18-year period, they looked at every deadline deal and all the prospects that got traded, and they discovered that 1 out of every 5 prospects turned into a major league player. 1 out of every 5. That's 20%. So
that's why they shouldn't
teams
be afraid, you know? I mean,
correct.
Sometimes you have 100%. All these guys in your system, you know they're not going to. Priester was one of the guys I thought was going to be a good player for them, and it just didn't work out. Look at the guy who they acquired. York is a guy who was a number 1 pick. It just didn't work out. Sometimes Joey Bart's a number 1 pick. It didn't work out, and maybe now it will. Who knows?
Exactly. So when you get an opportunity to win, you go for it. It feels like this team's front office and ownership is not convinced they can win, Bob.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of how else to
Or they think next year is their big year.
To what they've done.
2025, they target years down the road, which I don't like when you're in a position to do something in the now.
Well, so what does that mean if they're targeting 2025? Big moves in the offseason?
It better mean, don't you? I mean, if you're gonna play this game with these pitchers, you better go out and get bats and spend money on offense in the offseason. You have to. They don't need any more pitchers. They brought in Marco Gonzalez and Perez and all. You don't need that. They need hitters. They got enough young pitchers who, if they trust them, and you have at least 3 that we know of who are going to be reliable, and they're here for several years. So, I'd do that. If they don't make it, this offseason should be the biggest in Ben Cherington's career here.
Yeah, not only that, but does he have the budget to do those moves, Bob? I mean, is he going to have the ability to go out there and get not just shrewd moves, not just under the radar moves, not just 1-year deals? Can he sign a guy to a 2 or 3 year contract where they're paying him $15 to $20 million a year? That's what I want to know. That's what they need.
Yeah, and that's just pretty much market what a lot of guys get these days. You can't be afraid of it. All right, let's go to the phone calls. Our number 1 Cochrane Go On Better caller of the night begins with Jerry in Oil City, Pennsylvania. What's up, Jerry? How are you?
Hey, fine. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I've been around baseball forever, and I can't understand. It happened again tonight, 3rd or 4th inning. They put the shift on as much as they can shift according to the rules this year for a right-handed hitter to pull the ball, and they pitch him on the outside part of the plate. And it's not a mistake. That's where the catcher holds the ball or holds the mitt. So why would you, put your shift on, play a right-handed hitter to pull the ball, and then give him a pitch on the outside of the plate?
Well, to me, I thought that was a missed location. I don't know if that's what that was, but it doesn't make sense if you're going to do that to pitch a guy that way. I don't know. I saw it, but I can't remember who the batter was at the time. But that's a small thing today. I think there were so many big plays in this game already. Cruz leaving 2 when he struck out, took a curveball. There were 2 on base there. They had opportunities, Andrew, in this game to get more than what they've gotten so far, which is only 2 runs.
You had Paul Skeens on the mound, and they scratched their starting pitcher because they traded him to Toronto before the game. So it was a bullpen game for Houston. That's a game you got to win when that happens. You've got your big ace, the guy that started the All-Star game, they're not much better than you in the standings. Houston's come on, but this isn't the Astros team from last year or the year before that. They're not an elite team right now. So you should win a game like this and score way more than 2 runs, frankly. This should have been a comfortable Pirates win tonight, Bob.
Yep. And they could end up losing both of his last 2 starts. He lost last week. Again, he went in the 9th inning. It's not his fault. And they may lose this one. If you lose 2 Paul Skeens starts in a row when he pitches pretty well, that's not, and it just undermines what their problem is, that they can't get clutch hits in a variety of different people. Bill in Greensburg joins us right now. What's up, Bill? How are you?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. Thank you.
Hey, Bill.
With this happening tonight with 2 injuries to these mediocre outfielders, do you think Charrington now is going to have to change his philosophy and force his hand into actually going to have to make a trade now?
Yeah, but who's left? They're all gone. All the guys I wanted to see. I see Jazz Chisholm had a home run tonight. He made a big play on the stolen base last night. Thomas is gone. Who else is gone? Winker's gone. They're all gone. Who's left? I don't know, Andrew. It strikes me as they're not going to do anything in that regard.
Taylor Ward, Kevin Pillar. I mean,
Taylor
it doesn't
Ward,
look like
though,
Brent Rooker.
Yeah, I would like Rooker, but I don't know that he's going to be moved, it looks like now, is he?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so either, Bob.
I think they waited too long. That's my take
Bob,
on
how
this.
about calling up the White Sox and saying, hey, you guys stink. You got Luis Robert. We're going to try to make you an offer that you can't say no to. How about that?
I agree, but they
How about
won't.
you go for it?
And
Go
he
for the
fits in
jugular.
just like Chisholm, a guy who's signed beyond this year. And if you need center field help, which they do after sending Sawinski down, and Michael A. Taylor and G1 Bay and anyone else they throw out there, they need help in that regard. So let's go to Matt in Butler joins us right now. Hey, Matt, what's up?
Hey, guys. Taylor just hit a 3-1 lead, so I'm not going to beat on him. I was going to.
3-run home run?
Yeah, and I was going to call
Wow,
up
Michael A. Taylor, Andrew.
Wow, there you go. They found their answer in center field, Bob. No trade.
That's probably how it'll be received, yes.
Internal improvement, internal development. They were preaching it. Now they're getting it.
Well, that's a big play. I mean, he had 21 home runs last year. I don't know what's happened to him this year, but he like Grandal, has the ability to hit home runs, and Grandal hit one tonight as well. So, I mean, that's good. They're getting a win on a night where Skeens pitched well, and I give them credit. That's another reason why I think I make a trade if I'm Ben Cherington, because this team has shown me that they're going to play. They have come from behind wins after trailing after 7, multiple occasions this year. So they don't give up on games. You got to help them. If you don't help them, I'm wondering what message that is, sent into their locker room.
Well, we saw what happened with the Penguins, the tailspin they went into after the Jake Gensel trade.
That's a good point.
The thing I wonder about this team, though, is their expectations are so different. There's so many young guys. Is it really going to drag on them the way it would a team like the Penguins that have had multiple guys win several Stanley Cups in that dressing room? So I know I would want help. If the teams around me, the Cardinals, the Mets, they all made trades, bigger trades. I'd want to see my team do that to keep up.
All right, so Michael A. Taylor, 3-run home run. Pirates have the lead into the 9th inning. We'll take a break, come back with more. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Don't be a stranger. We are here 7 nights a week. Right now, Michael A. Taylor hit a home run. Josh Taylor is standing by with a preview.
I was waiting on that connection. Tonight, First Alert, KDKA First Alert meteorologist Ray Petlin is tracking rain on the way. Plus, a local SWAT team makes shocking allegations about security during former President Donald Trump's Butler County rally, and how Penn Hills is working to combat crime at certain businesses. It's all coming up at 11, Bob. See you then.
All right, JT, thanks very much. Andrew, real quick about the Steelers. They're going to get into pads tomorrow. We still haven't seen Russell Wilson at all. I expect we will. Are you of the belief that this may be something maybe a little bit more difficult for him to go through, or do you just think it's, he's 36, he's been through this? I just don't understand the sled pushing for quarterbacks, but what's your take on this?
Well, not having seen any of the medical files, I just hope it's not a lingering thing where, he's going to get out there and put the pads on tomorrow, but this is something that he aggravates again later in the year and causes him trouble down the road. I mean, the last thing you want is for an aging quarterback to be dealing with an injury to his lower body. Was Aaron Rodgers had some lower body leg issues in training camp last year that were kind of fluffed off, and then 5 plays into the Jets season, there's a play that ends his year. So I'm not overly nervous, but it is something that I'm mindful of because they've tried to downplay training camp injuries like Najee Harris's Liz Frank injury before, Bob.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're under no obligation to reveal what actually is the case, and there's no status report, just that he's been throwing the ball around, so I would imagine he'd be out there tomorrow. But reps are reps. You're with a new team. I think you need as many as you can get. I'm not sure Justin Fields, I keep seeing reports, I've only seen one practice, so I can't make a lot of judgments other than he was good and bad in the same practice. So he still has to overcome that and be more consistent. I think that's why Chicago didn't bring him back, and they looked to change their quarterback situation. Now, Fields should get a good opportunity after this first week.
Well, look, the guy's athleticism is off the charts, and the things that he's going to do to win a job or get a chance to play, I don't think you really see in practices where guys are just in shorts and helmets, because it's when the play breaks down and he can take off and make a play with his legs that you see Justin Fields, I think, give you the explosive plays to help you win games and running first as a quarterback. So I don't know how much of that's going to be designed into the offense, but I know when Justin Fields is in the game, that's the thing that keeps opposing defenses up at night, that at a moment's notice, he can take off and go 75 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, there's no question about that. The question is how much will he play, and if Russell Wilson is healthy and playing at a good level, they still should utilize those talents. That's a unique skill set that he has, and I'd like to see it. Who's your bet, if there are no trades, who's going to be wide receiver number 2 opposite George Pickens?
Well, I think they'll start Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin, but I think by the end of the year, Roman Wilson will have the best numbers. I'm a Roman Wilson guy. I still would like to see them upgrade the position, but if I'm betting on a horse to eventually be their second best receiver, Bob, from the guys that are internal, I'm going to go with the kid from Michigan.
I think that's a good pick. He's played at a high level. It's different in the NFL, of course, but he was the go-to guy last year for Michigan whenever they needed a big play. Anyway, Andrew, we're out of time. Thanks as always. We'll do it again tomorrow night.
See you, Bob. Yep.
All right. Take care. That's The Pony Show. I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back at you tomorrow at 10:35. We'll talk more about Game 2 of the Pirates and Astros series. We'll see you then. Have a good night.